Hey everybody, right now I'm standing on Route 66. I'm also standing on US Route 83. Why does that matter? Well, at one point in time, this right here was probably the busiest intersection in the United States. I'll explain. The panhandle of Texas is basically right in the middle of the United States of America, north, south, east, west. Route 66 was the most popular highway in the United States, largely because it's one of the few that stretched all the way to the west, the first paved highway all the way to LA, and it's far enough south that it doesn't freeze as bad in the wintertime. You don't run into as many seasonal obstacles. So Route 66, before the interstate system came along after World War II, was the most popular highway in the United States. So if you hop on 66 and drive that way, just as far as it'll take you, you will land in Chicago. If you go this way, just as far as 66 would take you, you will end up in LA. Today, unofficially terminating at the Santa Monica Pier. If you want to go all the way to the southern tip of Texas, you hop on US 83 and go all the way to the Mexican border, as far south as you can go in Texas. If you wanted to go to Canada, you go that way and stay on 83 just as far as you can go, and it will terminate at the border of Canada. So the significance of this intersection is that at one point in time, if you were traveling across the United States from the eastern half to the western half, or from the southern parts of Texas to the northern parts of the United States, you would have traveled right across this intersection. This predates the interstate system, so anyone that would have been traveling in the United States at the time would have had a very high probability of crossing this intersection in one direction or the other. Now, sitting at this intersection is a building that's probably very familiar to most of you, made famous by the Cars movie that came out in 2006 and its sequels, known as Ramon's House of Body Art. Now, it's not really called Ramon's House of Body Art. I know that's a surprise to all of you. But it was built in 1936, predating the interstate system by the better part of a decade. And so, not only was it a Conoco filling station, as indicated by the tower, but it was also a Greyhound bus stop and a cafe. Now, the name You Drop In was the product of a contest they had with the elementary school kids here in town. We're going to name this new service station. What are we going to call it? Well, You Drop In was the winner. So, if you were traveling, say west for the Dust Bowl, or you're an aspiring actor or actress, you would have stopped in here, probably got yourself a meal, either transferred or hopped on a Greyhound bus, or just passed on by on 66 headed to LA. If you lived in the western half of the United States and you needed to go east, most especially in the wintertime, but really any other time, you would have come right across that intersection and continued on down 66 as far as you needed to go. If you lived in the southern parts of Texas, there's a really good chance you would have been routed through this intersection to head to the northern half of the United States. If you lived in the northern half of the United States and you were headed into South Texas, there's a really good chance you'd have been routed right across that intersection to head into the southern parts of Texas. So this right here is known as the Crossroads of America. Once the most traveled intersection in the United States. And as you can tell, it's like 11 o'clock at night and there's still a lot of traffic. Okay, traffic hasn't died. Now, it's so popular, even Herbie came to hang out with us for the video. If you happen to come to Shamrock, Texas, of course, this is going to be one of the sites you're going to want to see while you're here. It's the most popular building in town, for obvious reasons. Again, made famous once again by the movies Cars and their sequels. The Western Motel right across the street. If you stay in that room right there, you have the best view in town. Not only of the You Drop In, but even with the Western Motel sign in the window, makes it all look really good. There are other motels down the way, of course. This is Route 66 after all, so there are plenty of sites. If my camera will focus here. Anyhow, there's plenty of sites to see, things to do, people to meet here in Shamrock, Texas. I am personally the owner of the Moonshine Motorsports Museum. Come and see us. We'd be glad to have you. It works as a rest stop for travelers. Grab a cold drink, grab a snack pack for the kids. We've got all kinds of gifts and souvenirs. And let's keep Route 66 alive for another generation. Just a heads up, this is Route 66's 99th year of existence. 99 years this road right here has served the United States of America as not only the most popular U.S. highway of its day, but also the most famous highway in the world. Most of our travelers come from Europe to tour the United States by driving the old U.S. highway system and making it a point to stay off of the super slabs like I-40 that now runs parallel to 66 and completely bypasses the town of Shamrock. Now, of course, bypassing the town of Shamrock specifically was detrimental because this eventually fell into disrepair and was all but forgotten about. And it's the Crossroads of America right here were moved up the way, but I-40 obviously doesn't cross 83. 83 goes over I-40, so it's not an intersection, but they are crossroads. And little towns like this survived based on travel and travelers coming through towns, all the little towns along the way, but this one in particular, the story is that this place was no longer necessary. So today it serves as our information center, and obviously we love to have guests come through. They also have a gift shop, and the cafe is still open. It wasn't always a cafe. It had a long period of time where it was just completely shut down and just decorated, but we've got someone leasing it now. They do barbecue. We have our souvenir gift shop and information center here. If they're not open, come and see us at the Moonshine Motorsports Museum. My phone number is on the window. Call at any time. You'll see that same green and white truck parked in the parking lot at our place if we're there. If we're not, feel free to call us anyway. We'll be glad to give you information about the town, maps, and any other souvenirs and goodies you feel like taking with you. Again, Moonshine Motorsports Museum, Shamrock, Texas, Route 66. Let's keep it going.